In this movie, I'm going to update the data model of shows events that we've been using so far in this course. I find that it's better for the learning process to start with a simple model and refine it as you go through. So I'm going to open my Irwin data model here, and as you can see, there have been a few small changes. I've rearranged it a little, putting the supporting act over there, the category down there, and we now have a price and ticket table that looks slightly different. So I'm going to open up a browser. I'm going to go to Ticketmaster.com, great website for buying tickets to concerts. I'm going to look for Fox Theatre Atlanta, since I live in this area. I know what it looks like physically. Click search, and I'm simply going to show you how I actually, let's pick an example, let's say Les Miserables, and let's go to this thing here on a Tuesday and click find tickets. What this is actually going to show me eventually, it goes down to here, I'm going to use the map. As you can see, I have a ticket map. What I've done is created in my price table all these sections with the different prices for each one. Some of them I've guessed at, I've changed them. If I left click on this section here, you'll actually see a seat map. I don't go down to the level of the seats, I just take the block, as in each of these blocks, as an entry into my table. So that's Ticketmaster, which is where this table structure comes from. It's not precisely exactly perfectly correct, but it'll serve a purpose for this course. So let's close this model. I'm going to show you how to get the data file restoring a database into a local database, assuming you have one. Now, if you have a default installation, then you probably won't need to know about this. But what happens is that the program data pump, import and export, will actually copy into and out of a directory which in a simple default installation will be in the data pump directory, and this is on your server here. And what you'll actually do is you will run to export, you'll actually run the export DP program with these options, which is a simple form of it. And if I'm exporting, I will actually run this and it will create the file called shows.dmp in this directory on my server. And we'll let this run. And this is what my export execution looks like. It basically writes out all the tables with the data, including empty tables. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log into my database. I'm going to drop my shows user completely, recreate it empty, and then I'm going to re-import it. I'm going to paste this script. Now we've got an empty user. I'm going to come back out again. I'm going to run this command here. This is what you would need to do. But you would have to take the shows dump file and you would have to copy it using something like SCP. You'd have to copy it onto your server into this data pump directory. Or you can go in and change the directory object if you really want to figure out how to do that in the manuals, and you can change the data pump directory to point somewhere else. I don't know if you're going to be using a server or you're going to be using a local Windows database. Just make sure you don't use any production databases at work. Preferably use something localized on a local machine. You don't want to mess up anything that's going on in any type of commercial servers. Quite often databases commercially use data pump directory for backups. You don't want to change the backups, be careful. And once you've copied that file into that directory, you go and run a command like this. I'm going to run it locally from my Windows box, and it should find it from the client machine by using the data pump directory, and it has. It's imported. It's imported the empty table and the fill table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into SQL Developer, going to connect to shows. I'm going to open up the tables, and when it finally gets around to it, it's rather slow sometimes, I should have all the tables. And I particularly wanted to show you the price table, and as you can see here, we have the different sections in my Fox Theatre data with prices and discounts and so on and so forth. That's how you can import the data into your own database. Once again, use a local database on your Windows box at home. Do not go making major changes into a database in a working environment, especially not a production environment.